All right, let's talk a little bit about arithmetic. So basically, that's just a fancy word for math. You know, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. And then you've got things like modulus, which is remainder, and exponents. And that's really all there is to it. And then, there's a few extra functions we can get into for like sine and cosine, and I'm just kidding. We're not going to do all of that stuff. We're just going to work with the basic stuff for now. Actually, that's really all we're going to work with at all, because when it comes to coding, when it comes to programming, it turns out that most of us coders we're kind of lazy. And we are not interested in writing all sorts of complicated math. We don't want to get into calculus and algorithms and things like that. Yes, algorithms are a buzzword and it's fun to talk about that, but at the end of the day, do we want to be spending 8 hours a day writing math? Honestly, no, most of us don't. And the good thing about coding is you don't have to. You can get away with simple math. And so in this video, we're going to learn about a little bit some of the basic arithmetic behind JavaScript. And really, we're just going to stick with multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's create a variable in here. So we've got variable num1 is equal to 100, and then we've got variable 2 is equal to, I don't know, let's say 33.5. I'm honestly just making up numbers at this point. Now, if we wanted to do, let's say divide these numbers. Let's say we wanted to divide 100 by 33. We could do num1 divided by num2. And you can actually see that's going to give me the exact number down here. And so this is division. It's just a slash, that's all it is. And if we wanted to multiply these numbers, it's just the asterisk. So you do shift and then the number 8, and you'll get an asterisk. Although on some keyboards that might be a little bit different, but on a standard keyboard, it's shift 8 to get that asterisk, and you're just gonna do multiplication. Subtraction is just a dash, and addition is just a plus sign. And that's all there is to it. And honestly, it's very, very rare to use anything more advanced than that. Occasionally, we'll get into something like modulus, which will give you the remainder of something. So if we did 10 modulus 3, well, 10 divided by 3 goes 3 times, and then there's a remainder of 1. So it goes 3, 6, 9, and then 10 minus 9 is 1. So basically, it's just, you remember long division? Well, it's like that, and then that's the remainder. And then we also have exponents, which is just 2 multiplication signs together. Now, there's one rule when you are working with larger formulas. You also want to keep in mind the rule of BEDMAS, and it's actually a different acronym for several different areas of the world, but the way I remember it is BEDMAS. You have brackets, exponents, division, and then multiplication, and then addition, addition, slash subtraction, whichever comes first. I don't know how to spell that, apparently subtraction. And so the idea here is whenever you have advanced math, it's not really advanced, but it's a little more advanced, I guess. There's an order of operations, and it's BEDMAS. So whenever you see brackets, do your brackets first. Do the math inside of that first, then the exponents inside of those brackets, then division and multiplication, whichever comes first from left to right, and then addition or subtraction, whichever comes first from left to right. So an example of this would be if we wanted to find out what 30 degrees Celsius is in Fahrenheit. So we could do Celsius is equal to 30, and then to figure out what the answer is, we could do C times 1.8 plus 32. And actually, if we get rid of C, that should preview for us. There we go. So it's 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the order of operations where this becomes important is if we did this backwards, plus 32 times 1.8, we get a slightly different number. And while that's not a big deal, it's only 1.6 degrees difference in, regular weather temperatures. If you were 1.6 degrees off in a circle, that could be significantly different, especially if you're trying to point a telescope to maybe a particular star. Well, you're going to miss that by a lot. And so this is just a simple example, but your order of operations is important. And so this is the same as, doing your brackets first. So you've got C, which is 30, multiplied by 1.8 plus 32. And so it's going to do this first, and then whatever that is, it's going to add 32 on top of it. And so that's a super, super fast crash course into basic algebra, just the simple order of operations. And again, you really don't need to know too much about this, because for the most part, we don't do a lot of math until we get into like the real nitty gritty of something super complex. And for most of us, that doesn't happen. So this was your introduction into arithmetic. Just as a quick summary here, you have num1 divided by num2. So you've got a division sign here. Multiplication is your asterisk. Subtraction is just a dash, just the subtract sign. And then the plus sign to add. And if you wanted modulus, you could use the percent sign. And if you wanted an exponent, I have no idea what this is going to be. You use, yeah, as a really big number. You use two asterisks side by side. So it looks like multiply, multiply, which is exponents.